down with Dan Lambton from Real Friends. We're sharing a cigarette.
I'm smoking a cigarette.
He's smoking it, and I get the opportunity to have all the memories that come with it.
Yes, secondhand smoke. Yeah,
secondhand smoke. A premature death on my behalf, but I won't come after you.
That's fine. They say you lose 7 minutes of your life every time you smoke a cigarette.
Well, perfect.
I used to think it was that it shaved 7 minutes off your life, but they meant just the time it takes to smoke a cigarette. So I was like, my dad smoked cigarettes for like 20 years. Like, oh, damn it. And I just swore. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about Chicago. That's where you're from. Mm-hmm. What part of Chicago are you from?
We're all from the south suburbs.
Okay.
I live in a town called Evergreen Park, and we all our meeting place is a town called Tinley Park, where they have Warped Tour every year.
Okay.
We send merch out there. We practice over there. I mean, I love the South Side, and I love the city.
Sure.
I try to keep the city to be something I really only go to when I have to see a show.
Okay.
So it's so I'm not there all the time. I don't get bored of it, because I honestly don't mind the suburbs. I have a ton of friends that just, as soon as college hits, they go get an apartment and live wherever they went to school, and they never come back. And some just haven't. I like where I live and we live, so can't complain about it.
When I think about the south side of Chicago, I think of a couple of things. Bad Leroy Brown comes to mind, that song. Do you know that song? South Side of Chicago?
Yes.
And then I also think of, there's that documentary that was on CNN or something like that. It's like Southland or something. It's called something like that.
Oh, is it like about gangs and stuff?
Yeah, it's all about just this crazy neighborhood that's south side of Chicago. Is really that treacherous?
Not where I am.
Uh-huh.
I live the closest to the city out of everyone.
Okay.
Because I live literally right outside the city limits, so everything around me is technically Chicago.
Okay.
If you go a couple miles north of where I am, there are some really shitty areas, but I mean, if you think about it, there are bad people doing bad things everywhere.
Sure.
So it's if you take Chicago versus say Flint. Flint's also a very dangerous area.
Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
Yes. But Flint is more dangerous because it's so much smaller and the crime is so much more in a little dense area.
Yeah.
Whereas in Chicago, it can be the murder capital of the country, which is still god awful and terrible.
Sure.
But it can be spread out more throughout a bigger, wider area, making Chicago more safer than a place like Flint.
Okay.
So where we are, thankfully, not too much happens. So.
The music scene in Chicago is unbelievable.
Yeah.
If I were to sit here and start spouting off bands that people love that are from Chicago, I would start now. You'd smoke that cigarette. You'd smoke another cigarette. You'd smoke another one, and we'd still keep going about all the great bands that are from and in around the Chicago area. Are there any for you that you're just oh man, the reason that I got into this was seeing the band?
I would go to local shows when I was really younger. My band that really got me into playing music was Blink-182.
Cool.
But seeing local shows, because that's how I kind of got into it. I started listening to Blink, and Blink opened me up to the Warped Tour world of bands, and so Mark Hoppus, for instance, produced a Motion City soundtrack record, and from that I was like, oh my god, this record's awesome, this band's awesome. Found them, saw them at Warped Tour the next year, and that, it just trickles down, and I find all these other bands, and I remember my earlier memories of going to shows would be Warped Tour and local bands, but that was the local bands were all years ago, and I can hardly remember any of them. But seeing the Starting Line and Motion City soundtrack and Circus Survive and stuff at Warped Tour has been unbelievable for me. Memories I'll never forget.
One of the things I love about Warped Tour is that it seems to be this because it's been going on for so long now, that you hear from people, as we've been talking to bands, they're I grew up on Warped Tour.
Yeah.
That's what made me want to do it. Now I'm on Warped Tour. It's cool to think of that, as we're sitting here in this tent and we see people walking by, you're I wonder if that guy is the next band that's going to be playing the Warped Tour. Or what about that generation? That, you know what I'm saying?
For me, I have this thing where, and it's I feel like everybody kind of has this thing where it's you kind of wonder where you are or where you'll be, or what you'll be doing when you find out, a dream like that, something like that actually happens. And I remember we were in Mesa. We were playing at a venue called the Nile Theater. Before the show, I was in the bathroom, number one at the urinal. Our guitar player Dave comes right up next to me. He's peeing, and then he just turns to me. He's like, "Yo, we got all Warped Tour next year, and I'm just like,
but
I'm like, well, it's in my hand already, like, but it's just like it's really weird because it's like you never expect to like find out that way, you know. It's always like really weird, or like because you like if you ever hear those words like ever in general, it's just like it's weird, it's surreal, but it's awesome. I love it.
You guys bus or van on the tour?
We are on a bus. We're on a bandwagon this year. It's a little smaller than a bus. Only difference is that it doesn't have a back lounge.
Okay.
But it's got a shower. It's got enough bunks for us. It's awesome. We did 3 weeks last year on Warped Tour, all West Coast, including the Salt Lake date.
Cool.
And we did it in a van, and that was really brutal. But we had friends that were in buses and stuff, so we just chill in like by catering where there's AC or on their bus and get by. It's really nice this year though, having it ourselves though.
It seems like it's kind of the make or break it for the band. We talk a lot about that. Like if you can get through your first big tour, whether it be a Warped Tour or whether it be something else, it kind of solidifies it, or it does the opposite, which is like, hey, real friends, we're done.
Yeah,
end it.
There are a lot of, that's really with any band. You can. Like, you're just, like, around those people so much that it's just, like, you pick up on their little, like, annoyances, just like they pick up on, like, little stupid things that you do. And, like, it's just kind of, like, finding a balance and, like, knowing when you need, like, some you time. Because, like, us, like, we're, like, I'm with them, like, 90% of the day sometimes and, like, for at least a month on end, and, so just to know when you need your personal space is ideal. It's key.
Let's talk about the name Real Friends. Where does that come from?
Our bass player was in a band, and he was filling in, played Warped Tour with them, and after he felt that band wasn't really for him, it was kind of like put together with like a bunch of people that the main dude of the band knew, just from all over the place.
Sure.
Dude was from our area. He was really the only guy Kyle knew. Kyle didn't really feel too comfortable with them, and then he hit me up and our guitar player Dave. We all started writing music together, and that name then Real Friends comes from the fact that we actually know each other.
Sure.
We're actually like we're doing something that we like to do with our actual friends. As corny as the name can come up.
But that's cool. At least there's a meaning to it.
Yeah,
so many times
it's just not like nobody took this name yet. It's like, oh well, we actually like each other.
Cool.
Like whereas like in other bands that I've been in, before that band, the relationships with Frank didn't see eye to eye, and it was nice to be with people that they know, like, that you just want to play music, and if something happens with the band, that's cool, but if not, you still get to play, and still get to have fun, that's great.
Cool. It's Dan Lambton from Real Friends. Thanks for taking a few minutes, and have best of luck on the rest of today, and then also last day of Warped Tour tomorrow.
Thanks,
man.
for having me.